Hello and welcome back to the Small Print Podcast with your host Elise. I blog at roulettereader.wordpress.com.
And I'm Dawn and I blog at bangbangbookblog.com.
And today we are bringing you our third Harry Potter reread, which is obviously the Prisoner of Azkaban.
The best one.
Yes. We are going to talk a little bit about differences between the book and the movie and then kind of just make general comments about what we really enjoyed about Azkaban and just general discussion.
Yeah.
So let's get started. All right. This was my first time reading this book. Chamber of Secrets and Sorcerer's Stone I had read before. So this book was completely new to me, and I was immediately shocked by how vastly different this book is from the movie. I felt like the first two books obviously kept very true to the story because they're simpler stories. And in Azkaban, we really start to see that bottom open up.
No, you're good. So, because I know people have been telling you to just get to book 3, So,
yeah.
Do you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah, because I was reading book 1 and 2 when I first started at the library. A woman that I worked with gave me the first book and was like, just start reading them, because I didn't read them when I was growing up. And I was kind of bored. Like, I liked the stories, I liked the books, I thought they were interesting, but I was like, this is too simple. A kid solves a crime in every book, and yay, he's the hero. This book totally takes that format and kind of deepens it and really sets it up for the rest of the series.
It's a lot darker.
Absolutely.
The other ones were just like kids on an adventure.
Exactly. Right, and I'm not
dark.
really, at this personal point in my life, interested in reading about a group of kids going on an adventure, solving something in every book. So I definitely loved the third book. So far out of the 3, it's my favorite. And I feel the same way about the movie, despite the fact that it's so different from the book. I'll just start with the differences. One of the major ones is that Ron and Hermione are fighting, like intensely fighting throughout most of the book. When Hermione's around, Ron is like slinging insults her way and hating on her cat and like basically blaming her cat for the downfall of his rat Scabbers. And she is under a lot of personal stress because, as we find out later in the book, this is a spoiler if you haven't read it, but she's using a time turner to go to several classes at one time. So she's like stressed out of her mind. Ron and her friends are not being super nice to her, and they're fighting throughout the whole book. Whereas in the movie, there is no sign of that.
It's like
whatsoever.
Right in the beginning, he's like, get that cat away from me, and that's it.
He makes
Whereas
one
in
comment.
This book, they stop talking, and she's crying.
Right.
Because Ron is not talking to her.
Multiple times.
Yeah. She's
Multiple
very
times.
upset.
Yeah. And it just seemed so outside of their relationships. That was really weird to see for me, them like fighting, getting at each other. Let's see.
Well, as long as we're on the topic of Crookshanks, in the book, Crookshanks is a character in itself. Like,
yes.
Is that a boy or a girl?
Crookshanks, I think, is a girl, but the name is agender.
But Crookshanks is basically helping Sirius. And Crookshanks is protecting Sirius against Scabbers. Like, that's why they fight Scabbers and Crookshanks, because
on some level, Crookshanks knows, what's going on.
I know she got Crookshanks from somebody in Diagon Alley, but I can't remember who or why it was important.
I can't either, but I kept waiting for Crookshanks to transfigure into someone else.
Me too.
I thought it was going to be like another person from Hogwarts, which I thought would have been a really cool addition to the story, but then I'm like, I know that doesn't happen in the movie, because I'd only seen the movie and not read the book, but and they do not mention at all that Crookshanks is helping Sirius Black in the movie. Was she even in the Shrieking Shack at the end? I don't remember. No. Yeah. And Crookshanks still plays an important role when they're having that discussion in the Shrieking Shack, so Hermione, since we're kind of talking about her, the slap happens at a different time. Like, I kept waiting for that to happen, and it doesn't happen when they're on there. Remember when she slaps Malfoy?
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's like the best part of the book.
Yeah.
You're like, yes! I've been wanting to do that the whole time. That happens much later in the story. That's not a huge difference, but
I think in the movie, when Hermione gets called a mudblood, she knows what it is, but in the book she doesn't.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Know what it means. So it doesn't really affect her too much, but I am glad that they changed that for the movie, so that she really feels like this is a term that it means something real. And it makes me sad. And
when Ron and Hermione go to Hogsmeade, the second time that Ron goes, he's by himself, and Harry shows up a little bit later in the Invisible Cloak. And that scene ends up going down differently in the book, or in the movie rather. In the book, when Harry throws, was it a snowball? No, he hits him on the back of the head with mud.
I don't remember.
And he turns around, and eventually the cloak slips off, and he sees Harry's head, like, floating midair. So he runs back and tells Snape, and then Snape knows what he's up to. In the movie, that does not happen, which would have been hilarious. And also Hermione, again, is present for this scene, which doesn't happen in the book.
I think they did that because they're setting up Ron and Hermione's romance, because they're looking at a house, and then Malfoy comes up, oh, is this your dream house?
Yeah, that's true. It was kind of
I don't know if they're holding hands at that point
I don't
in the movie.
think so.
But they're a little cozy, and they're by themselves, so I think that was kind of setting them up
for sure.
A relationship.
That change makes sense. I wanted to see Harry, like, his head floating. Mm-hmm. And just, of course, Malfoy being a little pansy. It's so funny to me. When we finally get to the Time Turner situation, I found that to be drastically different. Well, wait. Let me go back, actually, scratch that. This is the book where, Harry is in Hogsmeade when he learns the true, well, allegedly true story behind why Sirius Black is after him. Mm. What happens in the movie with that? I don't remember.
In the movie, Harry goes to, it's all three of them, and not just him and Ron, I think. And Harry goes upstairs and listens to a conversation between Madame Esmeralda, or Rosa Marita. She owns the Honeydukes, or not Honeydukes, Three Boomsticks, and she overhears McGonagall and them talking alone. Mm-hmm. But in the book,
it happens in her shop. Yeah. And they went to go,
and they're just like talking, and he's just overhearing them like across.
Right, he was table. He was hidden behind a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And that's when he is revealed the full story. But they go into more detail in that story than they do in the movie, which again is useful information. But they really keep it surface level, I felt like, in this movie. So there's a lot of backstory that we do not get. So in the book, we now get the backstory behind Lupin and Sirius in general, and Snape.
Yeah.
Snape's...
So, in the first book, Dumbledore tells Harry that his father saved Snape's life, and so that might be why Snape kind of, I don't know what his verbiage was, but you learn that Harry's father saved Snape's life, and then you hear it's nothing in Chamber of Secrets, and like, what is this, a drop storyline? Yeah. But then you do find out that...
Which was odd to me, because I felt like, I don't know, I was expecting a much more positive interaction between the two of them. And it's not surprising, honestly, to find out that, he saved his life, but it was because of something he was going to do to him. And you're like, ooh. I like that, though. I like when stories, obviously we kind of look at Lily and James as these, like, godlike figures. They're Harry's parents. They were killed wrongly by Voldemort. It's like, but these people had a past. They were real people who probably did some things to people that weren't great.
Well, as you continue to read, you get to learn more about Snape and Harry's father. And Harry's father is not a nice kid.
Yeah. Snape
hated all of them for good reason. He really hated Sirius. Sirius was not very nice to him at all. And neither was, what's his father's name? James.
Well, we
James
know Sirius is a bad boy. Like, that
but
is
in
an
the beginning, Sirius is.
Yeah, Sirius, yeah. But, that was very, very interesting to hear that, he saved his life, but it was because he was about to kill his ass.
Yeah.
So...
Well, Snape was nosy. He's always a bit of a busybody anyway. He was all up in their business.
Right.
And so they're like, we're going to fix him. And that's what happened, now that I'm thinking about it. We're going to fix him.
I mean, that's such a dark story. Like, knowing what they were going to send him into. Also, that doesn't make... I mean, it makes sense, but why would you want to put that on Lupin, too? That's what I don't get.
Yeah.
Lupin is not in his right mind. Don't take advantage of that. Like, they were hurting their friend, too. Mm-hmm. That pissed me off. I was like, I'm on Snape's side in this one.
He must have really pissed off Sirius for some reason. I don't know. But maybe we'll get it into more Fantastic Beasts as those characters come about.
Lupin is kind of made out to be more of an integral character in the book than he is, I felt, in the movie. Because we learn... obviously that he's a werewolf and that his friends Sirius and James and Peter Pettigrew at the time were kind of helping him deal with this illness, I guess is what he called it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was sweet, like realizing that the Shrieking Shack, which they don't talk about in the movie at all, that the Shrieking Shack was there because Lupin was using it as kind of like a hideout, and that's why it became the Shrieking Shack, because people who lived nearby kept hearing these horrific sounds of agony coming from the shack, and they were like, oh, must be haunted.
Yeah.
No, it's a poor little teenager turning into a werewolf. It's so sad.
And they talk about in the Chamber of Secrets how when Ron and Harry crashed their Fort Anglia in the Whomping Willow, Snape is like, that was built here when I was a teen, when I went to this school, and then you find out what was built for
to hide Lupin.
Yeah.
Yep. To hide the secret passage that Lupin would use to get there. It's like, again, Dumbledore, he knows. He's got some cards in the works. And we do not get any backstory about the Marauders map in the movie other than, like, Lupin kind of made it, and then the twins found it, and Lupin takes it back, and then he gives it back to Harry. But obviously in the book, we know that he made it with Sirius, James, and Peter Pettigrew. And that was a big revelation to me. Like, I obviously didn't know that. I hadn't read the book. And I thought those were... I just don't know why they didn't include that in the movie.
I think the map kind of became its own character. People love that freaking map, as you... Elise knows this. I was not leaving Wizarding World until I got my damn map. So if you have not been to Wizarding World and you want the map, it is in Hogsmeade and not in Diagon Alley. You gotta go to Hogsmeade to get the map. So, yeah, it just became its own character, and people love that map, and I don't know. I don't know why she didn't. It might have been just for time. She just was like, well, this isn't really that important right now.
I guess.
We have to cut it for time, because these movies are long as hell.
Let's see. I'm gonna hold that thought. We'll go back to that later. But when Harry and Hermione are going back in time, they do not interact with their past selves in the book at all. Unlike the movie. Right, but in the movie, she throws rocks at them.
Oh,
and she like whistles, and the whole scene with Lupin and Remus, or same person, Lupin and Sirius, she like howls from the woods. That never happens. They don't interact with their storyline at all. They merely observe, which I found to be a major difference.
Well, and as I'm watching, it took me several times to watch that movie to find the continuity, to make sure, because I was really paying attention. I'm like, really? She howled and hurt herself, and she threw the... It's like, I think they took a risk with that for people to be able to pick that apart. So maybe she was like, nah.
Well, and Hermione was not present when, Harry went out and did the final Expecto Patronum, and the stag came out. She was on the other side of the beach, also passed out. That doesn't happen in the movie. In the movie, she's like encouraging him to go and
she makes him do it because he wasn't going to, and he finally does Patronum.
Right, like that's a huge change.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And the firebolt situation is also completely different in the book than it is in the movie. He's never sent the firebolt until the end of the movie. So there was, again, they took out yet another example of Hermione kind of being at odds with the two of them. But that was funny to me, like McGonagall taking it to unjinx it, and it's unique. Percy and Penelope's romance doesn't happen at all. Percy is pretty much absent in this movie.
Percy's absent through the whole rest of the movies, but he's a big role in the books.
Yeah, he faded away. Doesn't he graduate, like, next year? Okay.
Yeah, in Goblet, he's already graduated.
Okay. So he graduates this year. Azkaban year. Alright. That was kind of something I was missing in the movies, for sure. Draco, Crabbe, and Goyle do not dress up as Dementors to scare Harry.
That's a small detail.
It is not.
I keep telling Elise, she thinks these are differences. Wait till she gets to Goblet of Fire, because that was like, I'm reading that book like, what?
Again,
none of this happened
Chamber
in the
of
movie.
Secrets and Sorcerer's Stone are very straightforward stories.
Yeah.
This one is not. lots happens here.
I can't wait for you
There
to
is
read Goblet of
action
Fire.
all the way up until the last bit. I kept reading them like, we haven't even gotten to the time turner part
I know.
yet.
I'm reading these books and I'm like halfway through and I'm like, this hasn't happened.
I
And this and
know.
this. How is she going to cram all this in? She did.
She does.
But
she doesn't waste a page, that's for sure.
She really does not waste a sentence.
A lot of people get injured because of them dressing up as Dementors, and it's like satisfying as heck to see them finally get a detention for doing something wrong.
Oh.
Like, that's a huge justice moment for the group, for Harry and Hermione. Girl, don't be knocking my differences.
I'm sorry.
We also get a backstory on the anime guy, which, again, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing this. I don't know how that's pronounced.
I think it's anime guy.
I find it hilarious that they have to register with the Ministry of Magic, and there's only 7 in all of the wizarding world.
And so that anime guy, registered anime guy, is a foreshadowing to Goblet of Fire.
For sure. Yes.
You'll see it.
I've seen the movie.
Okay.
Yeah. But...
No, because what happens in the book does not happen in the movie with the anime guy. So I'll let you discover it yourself.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a foreshadowing.
Well, I was, speaking of Goblet, I was so pissed that Harry, for once, did not set aside his moral responsibility and would have been just like, kill Pettigrew, I mean. Because,
he couldn't.
It would have, I know, but it would have stopped everything that happens in the next book.
But then Sirius would have gone to
And I
jail.
think that's part of what, again, have not read the books, speaking from an uneducated stance here, but I think that's part of his, like, serious guilt in book 5. Order of the Phoenix.
Who, Harry?
Harry. Because Cedric is dead now, and yeah. I'm excited. Can't wait. I'm gonna check it out, start reading it today.
Do you have more differences?
I just said that Sirius's escape from Azkaban isn't mentioned in the movie at all, which I kind of find interesting, because that's like a plot hole. He just is suddenly showing up, and we don't ever learn why, other than that he does escape.
Yeah, he really does go into how he's able to not be affected
what everybody's
by the
curious about. And that's such a cool detail. Oh, it's because I can turn into a dog. Their emotional intelligence is less detectable by the Dementors. Like, how cool.
Yeah.
Very creative.
My only other big difference is Quidditch plays a really big role in the books and not so much the movie. So much so that I was like really excited that they were winning the Quidditch tournament. But in the movie, nothing.
Yeah.
It's a little sad because it's a really important part of their story.
It's funny that you say that because I was reading this. I'm like, I don't remember them winning in the movie. Does that happen?
No.
No, that game
they
is
don't
not
talk
even
about
there.
No, because he falls and that's it.
Yeah.
He hurts himself and the
We
Dementors.
have not talked about... Wait, never mind. That was Chamber of Secrets. We did not talk about, oh boy, what's his name? The professor.
Oh.
Gilderoy Lockhart.
Lockhart, yeah. He's
Oh my
awesome.
god. Anyway, a different book. Yeah, they don't even go into that in the movie at all. But, well, those are the end of my differences. General feelings about the book are very positive.
Yeah. I think that because Hermione missed a lot of school in year 2, I think that's why she got the time turner. Because she was...
Yeah, that's
She
true.
turned into the cat and she was out for a month or so. Then she was petrified. So I think she got her time turner so that she could make up for all those classes that she missed.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because they don't have summer school. All right. Makes sense.
I also like that you have the 4 guys, James and Lupin and who was it? Pettigrew and Sirius. They are like really, really good friends, so much so they would become anime guy and really help their friend. And then now you have Harry, Hermione, Ron, and Neville. Even though Neville is not quite their friend, he is, but he isn't.
Yeah, he is kind of their unspoken fourth.
Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons why I really love this series is that they have such a strong friendship. And they were kind of preceded with Prongs and Patfoot and the other 2 names. I can never remember all the 4 names.
Wormtail and Moony.
Yeah. So I like that.
Yeah.
And another really big part about this book that I like is Lupin. Lupin is he's in my top 5 favorite characters of all time. It was so sad that he died. Oh, it's horrible. I really was rooting for him, and
they don't talk about what happens to him at the end of this book.
He gets fired because people don't.
Oh, that's
want
right. Oh my
their
God,
kids
yes, that's
being taught
right.
by
So
a
he's
werewolf.
alive at the end of this book, and he leaves Hogwarts to do we don't know what. Okay, that's right. Yeah, momentary lapse in memory. Yeah, I don't remember his death at all. I've only seen the movies past Goblet of Fire once. No, that's not true. I've seen Order of the Phoenix like a billion times, but 6 and 7 and 7.2, I don't even remember. I saw them in theaters because Alyssa dragged me, and I don't remember them at all.
Yeah.
I wasn't really into it.
I love Lupin. I don't know if you've heard, but she kind of made Lupin's werewolf into like someone who has HIV positive. So that's why people, how it was back in the day when HIV was, no one knew about it, and like, I don't want my kids being taught by some man with AIDS, and so that's, she kind of equated his illness to AIDS. This woman thinks a lot.
That's cool. That's why her stories are so transcendent through time. Yeah, I did not know that.
Azkaban is my favorite movie, but it's not my favorite book. My favorite book is Half-Blood Prince, mostly because you get a bigger backstory of Voldemort, and he has a very interesting backstory to him. So, and Dumbledore dies in that one too.
Yeah, I know. Whoops, spoiler, just in
No.
case.
I'm
Again,
on
it's
your
one
philosophy.
of those things. Yep, I'm
this
sorry.
This book has been out for 20 years.
Legit.
You ain't read it by now, too bad.
Right. No, totally agree.
Everybody knows that Dumbledore. I knew that Dumbledore died, and I had not even read anything or seen any of the movies, and I knew that he died. Yeah. I didn't know anything about Harry Potter, and I knew Dumbledore died.
It was big news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you have anything else to add?
I do not. No, I don't.
Oh, I did have a couple things that's really stupid, but I like the beginning where Ron is trying to use the telephone.
Oh my God. And he constantly calls it the wrong, what is he, Fellitone or something? He calls it something weird, like, oh, come on.
He's like yelling on the telephone.
Yeah, that
and
was
I also
funny.
like Stan, the conductor of the night bus. He's great. He's really funny in the movie. He's only in it for a second, but he's great. I like Stan. And I also like the Leaky Cauldron.
Mm-hmm.
That was, and I have to say that the part where they eat, it looked pretty similar to Wizarding World, where it had the eaves and
the huge chandelier coming down, and then this like rooms on the side.
I was like, we were eating over there.
I know. Yeah, it was great. I thought they did a great job making it similar. The only place that I like, Borgin and Burke's, does not look the same at all whatsoever.
No. I know when we walked by, we were like, ooh, Nocturnal, let's go down here. It was very crowded, and it had a lot of like dark stuff. I got a couple.
Well, there wasn't anything you could go into in Nocturne Alley except watch a couple of like things happen, and then of course there was Borgin and Burke's, but it was just a store. Which, I mean, whatever. But it was very hard to see in there because the light is extremely low. So that kind of was like, okay. But they had cool stuff in there.
Yeah.
I did not budget accordingly for that trip. You were like, $250. I'm like, really? Yeah.
So do you think if you were to go back after reading, do you think you would be a little more excited? Or
yeah, I was already excited to go because I knew that it would be a really cool experience. I don't know if I would have bought anything other than what I did. Like, I still don't know if I would have bought a wand. No,
really?
I don't think so. I don't know. I would never use it again, and I cannot justify a purpose.
Well, of course you're not going to use it.
I just mean,
like, show.
No. What I mean is, I'm not going to display it anywhere. Like, I would never have that out in my house. So
on your bookshelf?
No.
With your Harry Potter collection?
I do not own except one of the books. I don't know. I'm not there yet. Okay. I'm getting closer. But by the time we got to Hogsmeade, I was like, get me the hell out of here.
Did you have fun on the Hogwarts Express?
Yes, I did. I did.
You get to like, oh, the Hogwarts Express. Yeah.
When I saw the first movie, when I rewatched them this time, I was like, oh my God, we were on that. And then they have this little story. Yeah, it was fun. But yeah, I am not quite at the like, oh my God, this is my life obsessive state yet, but I'm definitely more interested in the series. So yeah, and it's nice to get like the references and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's been a good experience.
All right. Well, we are going to be doing the Goblet of Fire. That's a big one. And we'll probably be podcasting other books because it's the new year and some new great books are coming out.
I'm excited to get back to the ARC reviewing.
Yeah. we'll have to figure out what we're gonna do first.
Mm-hmm.
But thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.